Okay, let's begin mindful Pilates standing. And let's actually get our therapy ball. Now, I think mine rolled way back here, so I'm going to have to find it, which might prove more difficult than it's worth. So get your yoga therapy ball, begin rolling your foot. I saw it roll away on me the other day. All right, I'm going to run and get a different one. Go ahead and begin rolling the ball under your feet. Sorry, I, I lost my little racquetball, and all my other balls are downstairs because they went to Big Springs. Okay, so we're rolling our feet. If you've rolled one, switch over to the other. Really try to get those tender spots in the feet. Remembering that the fascia in the feet relates up the leg and it's all interconnected, right? So tight feet are going to impact knees and hips and vice versa. So we roll the feet and then we take one set of metatarsal arches. We arch the metatarsal arch over the ball, reaching the toes for the floor like bird talons. And we look for each of those metatarsal knuckles. And we may take a little pressure off the ball and put a little more on. Just trying to stretch that myofascia around those knuckles, around the toes. And then roll the ball back underneath your heel and step down on the whole circle of your heel and see if you can lift to the opposite toes. Take your arms out like wings and imagine you could press down on a surface and see if you can float the knee. Okay, now if this doesn't work with your tweaky knee, don't do it. Keep your foot on the floor. And then release and roll the ball one more time underneath your foot. Fluid breath. I managed to keep Izzy out of the pond today so she can come in with us. And then take the ball to your other foot. Roll the metatarsal arch over the ball. Reach your bird talon toes for the floor and look for each metatarsal knuckle. So you may change the position on the ball, looking and inviting each knuckle to surface. Sometimes a few of the middle knuckles can disappear in there. So we just keep looking for them, inviting them to surface. And then roll the ball back underneath your heel. Step onto the heel, spread your metatarsal arch, spread your toes, and lift to the opposite toe. Feel how your metatarsal arch may feel more open. It may be able to balance you better if you choose to float your arms and float your knee. And don't do it if it feels like your other knee is too imbalanced. Good, and then release from that and roll the foot. And we began with a little foot opening, and then put your ball out of the way. And spread your feet outer hip distance wide or a little wider, and begin rolling from side to side across your feet as you rock the body. Let the spine undulate and let the shoulders begin to undulate. Oh, goodness gracious, my words aren't working yet today. Roll your shoulders up, back, and down. And invite the myofascial web to open. Take the elbow out or up, inviting space around the arm bones, even as you still roll over the feet. Feel into the knee bending and straightening, the hips moving up and down. And let the arms stretch out and open and reach. And maybe the foot that you're coming off of points now. And you stretch the front of the foot as you point the toes. Stretching across the diagonal of the body, inviting bones to float out in the myofascial fabric. And then we float up to one side and the other. We come into that dynamic movement that warms up the myofascial tissue. Now you can take this deeper with your legs, or you can stay higher, depending on what you want today and how your knees are. If you take it a little deeper, you'll activate your quads a little bit more, pointing the toe that you're bouncing away from, using the tension in your body, the biotensegrity, to bounce gently side to side, and then come back to the floor. Let your hands follow each other, one palm up, one palm down in your figure eights. And if it's comfortable, let your figure eights twist. Keeping knees and hips forward, we come up to shoulder girdle and spine. And we invite the tissue between the vertebrae to stretch a little bit. This helps it to hydrate. And if we have the capacity, we let the arms figure eight upward. We're still gently twisting the spine. And we can stay with these figure eights, or pausing the figure eights, reach the left arm away from the left foot. Now you're a little bit wide with your feet, so reach at the diagonal. Really let yourself reach. Still reach up through the crown of the head, both sides of the neck long. Float back over. Release the left arm, let it kind of curl down, and reach through the right, from the right circumference of your heel all the way through your fingers. Feel, is there a stretch around the rib cage, in the spine, or for you, is it in the hip or the pelvis? Come back one more time to the other side. Stretch. The right knee can bend as you really reach the left side body long. And then try the other side again, reaching and opening, pressing down into the heel, lengthening the arms, and come back up. Now, take your hips into a figure eight. So we begin stretching open the hips. Let the hips figure eight, side to side. Feel that pressure out as the hip comes around the curve at the side of your body. Feel for the hips releasing a little bit. And take your figure eights the other way. You can go nice and slow to feel into the tissue, or a little faster if you're wanting a little more dynamic movement to warm up the body. We're getting to that point of the year where temperatures are going to be very different state to state. I had a friend write me this morning saying, oh no, we had the first cold spell in Alaska. I think summer's ending. Starts for them first. She's in Fairbanks. She has a big garden, so she's always a little sad when summer ends. Okay, let your arms come up, palms out, fingers spread. Circle the arms, let them circle forward. Wax on, wax off, like the old karate movie. Take it out, circles. And one more time in. And bring one hand in front of the other and pulse. Just pulse forward. Let the bones move away from your shoulders. Feel how it spreads the ribs on your back. Take the other arm forward. Just a gentle pulse, reaching the arm bones away from you. And then open wide, lift the heart. Come into your goalpost position. Bring the backs of the hands together. Cat curl the spine and open. And you can stay in a bit of a squat if you want a little more work for your quads. Remember, your feet are wide open. You can stretch across from big toe to pinky toe ball mount and really have good grounding through the feet as we work the spine, Perhaps staying low, getting some strength in the quads. One more here. Open up and reach for the sky. Spread your hands. Bring the hands down and fist them. And maybe it's a little bit of a pulse for the legs, but your legs can stay a little bit low if you're wanting to build the quad strength. Now, if you've been hiking a lot, maybe you're like, oh no, I don't want to do that. I'm going to come up and go down. I'm going to come up and go down. But you could also go down and go a little lower, come up, go down a little lower. So it depends on what you want in the workout today. And then reach up and release back to standing and pause. In the pause, breathe into the full circle of your lowest ribs. Let the breath sink down from the top of your lungs in towards the abdomen. Yeah, really invite the breath to sink in your lung tissue. Now invite the breath to open the back ribs. Like it could roll from the low ribs up the back towards the tops of the shoulders. And then roll back down on the exhale. Now open the whole circumference of the rib cage with the breath, lifting the sternum away from the tailbone. See if you can even breathe deep into the low back. One more. And then exhale. Okay, so I want you to pick up your long TheraBand today. Let's do a little work with it with the arms. So remember, you can hold it at any tension out front. So you may take it with, your hands wider and just a little tension. You'll still feel that work in your back body. Or you may tighten up on the TheraBand a little bit for more work. What I really want you to watch is that the wrists don't break. And what I mean by a broken wrist is that it turns some funky way. I want you to keep a long, straight neck of the wrist. Okay, so that palms are down. Your knuckles are facing out at the diagonal of your arm away from you. Your knees are soft, feet wide open. And we stretch the TheraBand wide. Now, kind of draw your shoulder blades a little towards each other here and hold. Try to release the upper trap. If you come too high, you'll engage the upper trap, so keep it low over your chest. And then take 5 counts to bring the hands back together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And open. And hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And slowly together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Make sure you ground your tailbone as you open. You're not flaring your ribs to open the TheraBand. Your wrists are long. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and slowly close. 2, 3, 4, 5. One more time. Open, stretch, hand to hand. Feel your shoulder blades come like magnets onto the back ribs and a little towards each other. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and slowly close. 2, 3, 4, 5. Now stretch the left hand down, right hand up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Slowly close. 2, 3, 4, 5. Other diagonal. Up and down. Straight arms. No flaring of the ribs. Your square stays strong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And release. 2, 3, 4, 5. And roll your shoulders. Take your palms up, holding the TheraBand across your palms, and place your elbows in golf tees right below your shoulders. Holding onto the TheraBand, externally rotate the TheraBand. Keep your shoulder over your hip, over your ankles. Palms come out, and then slowly in. 2, 3, 4, 5. Take the thumbs out Your arms are out to the sides. They don't have to go all the way, but feel for an opening. Stay open across your front chest. Strong in your Pilates square. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and release. 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's do one more of those. Open out. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Slowly release. 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. Take the TheraBand now across your front femurs. Hold pretty close to your hips. Open across your collar. Ground your tail like the third leg of a stool and press your palms back. Don't flare the ribs or stick out the hind end. Stay long in your spine and look over your right shoulder and inhale. 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale. Slowly turn your head towards the front for 5 counts and release. Now inhale, turn head to the left. 2, 3, 4, 5. Slowly release the head, not the hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Keep the hands back. Turn the head to the left. 2, 3, 4, 5. Turn back to front. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. To the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and back to front. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and release. Lift the arms overhead, open them wide, and bring them back together again. Open them wide and hold. Make sure your wrists are strong. Feel for your shoulder blades on the back ribs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now soften your knees. Tail and pubic bone drop. We're going to twist the torso to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Back to center. 2, 3, 4, 5. To the left. 2, 3, 4, 5. Back to center. 2, 3, 4, 5. And release. And roll your shoulders. Okay, let's come to the mat. Come to the mat. And we will open the hips a little bit. Let yourself lay down in constructive rest. Palms up, thumbs out, shoulders relaxing back. We've warmed them up now. Head relaxing back, gaze perpendicular to the floor. Come into either pelvic nods or somatic walking, whichever you prefer. Fluid breath. Remember, with somatic walking, you're lifting one hip and then rocking across to lift the other, which is a gentle twist of the lumbar spine. Fluid breath. If you're doing pelvic nods, it's tailbone towards earth, then tailbone towards sky, accentuating your lumbar curve and then flattening it. Make sure your spine is long, whichever choice you've made. Now come back to center and take a deep inhale, three-dimensional. Open the lowest circle of your ribs. Exhale through your straw. Lift the pelvic floor into the body. Hug in your transverse abdominis. Lift the diaphragm. Soften and inhale. As you exhale, do not change the shape of your spine. Lift the pelvic floor. Hug in the transverse abdominis. Maybe you even feel the multifidi engage. And soften and inhale. Move at your own breath pace. Exhaling through the straw, activating the inner core, softening for the inhale. Feel for the corset muscle all the way around the spine. Soften and relax. Feel the breath into the back body. Use the force through the straw to activate the transverse abdominis. Soften and feel the back body fill with breath. Let the breath be slow, smooth, even, and full. Let the exhale be long and smooth and all the way to the end. Soften on your next inhale. Bring your middle fingers to 12 o'clock on your navel, closest to your chin. And then let your hands rest by your sides. And with just the muscles of your abdomens, not rolling the hips, roll the marble to 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and 12 o'clock. Roll the marble around the circumference of your navel. And let yourself really feel internally in the body. What do you activate to roll the marble? The shoulders don't have to work, neither does the jaw, neither do the feet. Just isolating the muscles in the abdomen. The pelvis does not tilt. Now take the circles the other way from 12 to 9 to 6 to 3 to 12. And pause. Take another deep inhale. Exhale, one knee into the chest. Another deep inhale. Next knee into the chest. Circle the knees apart from each other and back together again. And relax the spine long. Let the pelvis move with the knees so the lumbar will flatten and release a little bit. Take your circles the other way. Visualize lubricating the hip joints as the head of the femur moves in the hip socket. And then hugging the knees in, lengthen your left leg out, series of 5. Nod nose towards mouth. Now, really seriously, only lift 10% of your head's weight off the floor. Lengthen through the crown, hug in the banks of your river. Now maybe lift 20, maybe even 30 or 40. But really try not to lift with the muscles at the back of the head. Feel your front neck flexors engage. Feel like you can nod your nose towards your mouth, and you can almost lift from the hairline at the top of the forehead. And switch and hold. Hug in the banks of your river. Take a deep inhale. Exhale through your straw. And switch, and switch, and switch. Some of you will float the head up to look towards the inner thighs, contraindicated with a neck injury or osteoporosis. We reach the feet, point the toes, stretch through the entire leg. Now, if you want a little more action in the inner knee, do a very slight turnout of the feet so you get the vastus medialis, which helps us track the kneecap. That's your inner quad. Now come back to parallel shins. Feel into the knees, lengthening as you stretch the legs out and float the feet. Stretch the toes open from big toe to pinky toe. And hug both knees in, laying the head down, hands and feet towards the sky. Zip up the inner thighs in your Pilates V. Take wrists away from ankles. Circle the arms, hug the knees in. Reach the feet away from the wrists. Circle and hug. Inhale out and exhale in. Inhale, reach. Exhale, hug. Hug in the banks of your river. Create a container, reaching and hugging, lengthening and coming in. Feel into the strength in your square from low ribs to hip pointers. And hugging the knees in. Take the right leg overhead. Now make sure you're not hitching the right hip. Hug in the banks of your river. Again, point your toes and just an inch. Pulse, pulse, switch. Pulse, 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 pulse. The hand can reach up towards the ankle. This allows lymph to flow down your arms, but the arms don't have to do much. Now nod your nose towards your mouth. Almost lift the head from the hairline. Float the feet. Some of you will float the head up. Flex the feet. Reach out through the heels. Stretch the back of the legs. The front knee needs to bend. It can. Avoid a hamstring pull. You want to feel the stretch in the hamstrings at mid-muscle, not up by the sit bone. Now bring your legs together, arms wide. Bend your knees, shoulders grounded, toe tip one foot, and come up. Toe tip the other, come up. Now lift your fingers towards the sky, palms towards the foot of the mat in your kind of goalpost position. And press from humerus bone to elbow back. Feel the mid back we were working earlier with the TheraBand, and toe dip again. And come up. Keep the mid back active as you toe dip. Keep the Pilates square active as you toe dip. Coming back up, knees as wide as shoulders, toe dip at the diagonal. Feel for what's working in your abdomen. Now come together with the legs. Some of you will continue single leg toe dips. Some will toe dip both feet. Keep strong through the arms and shoulders. Keep strong in your Pilates square. Only toe dip as far as you can go without flaring the ribs or flattening the lumbar spine. Stay strong down your humerus bones. Hug the shoulder blades onto the back ribs a little bit. One more. Now you could stay with any of those or bring your hands under your head. Rest the head back and float the hands just a half an inch off the floor. Traction the base of the skull. The head is not working, just the arms. Lift your feet towards the sky. Flex the feet in your Pilates V. Lower the heels, point the toes, and lift. So you can be at single leg toe dips still. You could be at double leg toe dips, or you can do the full lower and lift. Keep the low ribs hugging towards the hip pointers. Keep the banks of your river hugging in towards the bones. And float the bones in the myofascial fabric of the body. Now come back up, bend the knees, reach your elbow towards the sky, keep the knees still, pause, rest the head back, and float back. Lift the other elbow, rest the head back into the hands, lift the elbow, lift the shoulder, float back and lift and lower and lift and lower. Now as you lift the right side elbow, lengthen the right leg. And lift left, lengthen left. And come into really working from the low rib to the opposite hip pointer. The head continues to rest into the hands. We are working the obliques. And this all helps us warm up the abdomen and the hips for the following work. Release the head, hug the knees in, circle the knees together around the perimeter of your sacrum. Fluid, three-dimensional breath. Take your circles the other way. Now hug in your left knee, lengthen your right leg out on the mat. You can hold your hands underneath the knee on the hamstrings and lift the left foot towards the sky. Some of you will reach to the outside of the left foot and draw the left knee towards the left armpit, half happy baby. Take your right hand to your groins and the top of your femur and press it down the leg, lengthening into the four corners of the right foot as you press the left foot into the left hand, or you press the left hamstrings into the left arm. So you could be here holding the left hamstrings, or you can be holding the foot. And then draw the right leg back in before you release the left leg. Draw the left knee into the chest, the right knee into the chest, lengthen the left leg. Step the four corners of the left foot onto an imaginary wall. And hold behind the knee on the hamstrings or lift up to hold the pinky toe side of the right foot with the right hand. Left hand to left femur, press it down, lengthen the left leg. Fluid breath. And draw the left knee in, step the right foot to the floor, release your head from your pillow. If you have a sandbag or a hand weight that you'd like to put on your pelvis, you can do that for your bridges. And we're going to lift the bridge and lower it down. So your hands can hold the hand weight. So I have a 5-pound hand weight here. You could use a 10, you could use a sandbag. And I'm just holding my hands to hold the weight in place between my hip bones. And lift and lower. As you lift, activate the glutes onto the ilium bones. As you lower, keep them active until you're kind of relaxing that last third to the floor. And lift to the top. Lengthen your tailbone towards the backs of your knees and pulse. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And pause on the lift. Check in with your big toe ball mounds, your inner heels, your outer heels, and your pinky toe ball mounds. Lift your toes, lift your arches. Feel for the inner arch of the feet. Feel for the transverse arch from big toe to pinky toe. Feel for the outer arches, pinky toe to outer heel. And lower the pelvis towards the floor and lift. And lower and lift. Keep the toes lifted. Keep aware of your arches, active, strengthening the feet. And one more lift here and pulse. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And hold. And lower, 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 slowly down. Release the hand weight from your hips and bring in your yoga therapy ball. If you have two, you can bring one under each side if you like. And roll back and forth from the sacrum towards the outer hip across the ball. Fluid breath. Rolling the fascial tissue, the muscular tissue. Inviting a release in the buttocks. We want strong buttocks, but we don't want any of this tissue to get tightened and dehydrated around nerve bundles, or we can end up with a lot of different painful issues. Fluid breath. We massage the buttocks. And remember to really explore the whole landscape of the buttocks, down to the sit bone, out to the greater trochanter, which is the outer hip. So from tailbone or sacrum out towards the outer hip in different lines across the buttocks. And then when you feel like, okay, I've gotten to know the landscape and I had a few points that really wanted more attention, come back to those points. Deep, fluid, three-dimensional breath, letting go any tension, stiffness, tightness on the exhales. And as you're ready, if you haven't yet, switch sides. Moving the ball up and down the landscape. Figuring out how to roll the ball at different angles on the buttock. So you may shift your hips a little so you can roll at different angles. And then release off the balls. And for a moment, let's bring one ball underneath the center of our occiput. So it's right at the occiput towards that kind of indentation towards the neck. And roll your head side to side. The muscles that connect into the occiput down through the neck, some of that fascial tissue reaches all the way down to the sacrum, pelvis. So we nod, we invite release. Now you can take the one ball to one side of the head, or you can bring two balls in and have one on each lobe of the skull. And just nod, no, circle, whatever feels good. Remembering it's all connected. So when you release the skull, you're also releasing the low back. The low back is often tied very much into what's happening with the hips. All right, release the head back to the floor. If you use a pillow, bring it back in. And lift your right ankle over your left knee. Flex your right ankle. Now, as you let the right knee open, remember the flexed foot is very important. And if this exercise hurts your knee, let your knees come into more of just a crossing the legs position and float your legs in towards your chest. Some of you may rest the left foot on a block instead of drawing the legs in. If you draw the legs in, gently rock side to side, pausing where the stretch is right for you and breathing into it. Here's a wonderful point in time to practice your three-dimensional breath deep into the abdomen and low back. Coming back to center, release the left foot and the right. Bring the left ankle up over the right knee, open the left knee. As you're ready, draw the legs in and rock side to side. Finding the stretching spot where you want to pause and breathe three-dimensionally into the body, inviting the tissue to relax on the exhales. Fluid breath. And release right foot, then left foot. Bring in your TheraBand up over the top of the left foot. Now, as you bring the TheraBand over, bring it over the ball of your big toe, the ball of your pinky, and stretch the foot wide so that you feel that transverse arch as you pendulum the leg. Keep the pelvis in neutral. Let the femur bone move independently. Fluid breath. Now you can always stay with the previous exercise or go backward as we go forward. Come on up, lengthen the left leg and draw a small circle with the right leg, starting at 12 o'clock by the top of the head. Take it out towards 3, down towards 6, and around. Lengthen the left leg out if you'd like to on the mat. Lengthen through your crown and feel your active shoulders on the mat broad. Take your circles towards the pinky toe side now from 12 o'clock. And really notice, is there a point in the circle where the tissue of my leg is tighter? And if you're like, oh yeah, there's the spot, I want you to pause in the spot. Pause and breathe into it. And maybe even flex and point the foot. And then come back to your circle. Remember, we're trying to make a circle, not a blob. Maybe your circles can get a little larger, maybe not. And then feel again to where you might be tight in the circle and pause. Breathe into it. Exhale, try to relax the tight tissue. And now reach the right hip down the mat towards the foot of the mat. Come back up to neutral and switch feet with the strap. Make sure the strap is over your transverse arch from big toe to pinky toe and pendulum. So that this even here becomes a bit of a foot stretch. You're stretching from big toe to pinky toe. You're active into these two ball mounts. And here we're not letting our lumbar arch collapse as the foot comes up. And then we come up, lengthen the right leg if you like. Draw small circles with the left from 12 o'clock to 3 o'clock to 6 to 9. Stay long through the neutral curves of your spine, broad across the shoulders. And maybe the circles get a little bigger, maybe they don't. Bigger isn't better. A big blob isn't better than a small circle. So you can experiment, go larger, and then be like, oh, that was a blob. I'm going to come a little smaller again. And then take your circles the other way. Fluid breath. And if you feel a tightness somewhere around the circle, pause. Maybe flex and point the foot. Deep three-dimensional breaths into the stretching tissue. And then continue your circles. They may stay small, they may get larger. They may get larger and then go back to smaller. Fluid breath. Working on opening the hips. But we're also strengthening the hips because when you take these big bones out like this, the myofascia has to work to not lose the leg to gravity. If you like the feel of a stretch, pause there again. Deep fluid breaths into the stretch. And come back up to center. Step the right foot in, release the left foot, and nod tailbone towards earth and tailbone towards sky. Fluid breath. So we've had the legs up a little while. Let's keep with that theme for a few more moments. Take your pillow out, reach for your ball, your gurney ball, your block, or your bolster. Bring it underneath your sacrum. And make sure that you're not back bending over your prop. Activate across your shoulders, down your arms, and float one leg to tabletop and the other to join. Now hug the knees towards midline. Maybe the tailbone reaches long as you Hug in your banks of your river. Ground the shoulders and open the left leg out to the left and pause. Feel the activation of the left shoulder connected across to the right buttock and to the left buttock. And come back in. Try to stay as still as you can, except for the moving leg. Take the leg back out again, pausing, staying broad across both shoulders, and come back in. One more time, staying as still as you can. Take the left leg out. Now, some of you will be able to straighten the left leg, staying still, and bend the left leg. And maybe you just straighten it part way, maybe all the way, and bend. And one more. Straighten and bend and come back to the middle. Pause for a three-dimensional breath. Grounding across the shoulders, releasing the low back ribs to anchor you. Take the right leg out and pause. Feel into your myofascial sling from right shoulder to left buttock to right buttock. There's your triangle of strength. Exhale back to center. Inhale, open. Stay as still as you possibly can. Exhale back to center. One more time, take it out and pause. Long in your side bodies, long through your crown. Maybe you can straighten the right leg and bend it and straighten it. Staying so still in your torso and bend it. And one more time, straightening and bending and back to center. Open right leg overhead, left leg long, and begin to slowly ride your bicycle. As you lower the lengthened leg, you're strengthening the eccentric contraction of your psoas. Fluid breath. Slow motion bicycling. Lubricating the hips, strengthening the core. Now, can you take just as slow a ride backwards? Now again, think about your knee. What if you bring your feet into slight turnout? Can you wake up that inner quad? If this hurts, then go back to neutral and take smaller circles. Come back to center. Bend your knees. Pause in tabletop with a three-dimensional breath. Broad across your shoulders, strong down your arms. Toe dip one foot at a time or both feet towards the floor. Draw them back up. Try to stay as still as you can as you toe dip and lift. Toe dip and lift. Feel into what's working, how you stay integrated. Fluid breath. And this time, toe dip one foot all the way to the floor, then the other. And release your arms, palms up, thumbs out. Broad across your chest now. Lift the heart center up towards the sky above your forehead. Take the pelvis away from the shoulders and lift the pelvis up almost off your prop. Reach the knees long, stretching the myofascia of the bridge. Reach the tailbone long. Deep three-dimensional inhales. Full, slow exhales. Open the whole three dimensions of the torso. And on your next exhale, lower back onto the prop. Take one leg long, the arms overhead, and stretch through a flexed foot, taking the lengthened leg femur bone away from the hip socket. Deep breath. You can rock the pelvis a little side to side if you're on the ball or the bolster. Look for where you can create freedom in the hip joint. And then try the other side. Next leg long. Really stretch the bones out in the myofascial fabric. Take the foot bones away from each other. Take the shin bones away from the femur bone. Take the femur bone away from the pelvis. Deep three-dimensional breath. Maybe some gentle rocking on your prop. Coming back to center. Some of you will take both legs long over the prop. Some may want to rest and bridge for a moment. Fluid, three-dimensional breath wherever you are. If both legs are open over the prop, you may be able to rock your pelvis if you're on the ball. If you're in bridge pose, you can also rock the pelvis looking for where you can stretch the inside of the pelvis and its connection to the inner thigh. Now come back to center. Stepping in, lift up and off the ball. Lower the pelvis to the floor and nod tailbone towards earth, tailbone towards sky. Okay, let's roll ourselves over onto hands and knees. You can stand if you need to. And inhale your cow. Pause, taking pelvis away from shoulders. Here you may draw your pelvic floor into the body and lift the sleeve of muscles underneath the lumbar spine to support the back bend. And then exhale, pressing hands away from knees. Release the head and the tail into your hissing cat. Breathe the upper back fabric, the lower back fabric skyward. Take your knees wide and roll back towards a child's pose. If it's comfortable for you, reach the hands forward. If not, let the elbows bend. Wherever you are, if you feel like rocking the pelvis or the shoulders, go ahead and do that. Fluid breath. And then walk your hands around to the right. Lift the left sit bone, stretch it to the left, and set it down. Fluid, three-dimensional breath, inviting any tissue that feels stuck to the bones to release and allow the bones to float. And walk your hands around to the left. Lift the right sit bone, stretch it wide and back, and lower it down. Come back to center. Roll your toes under and hover the knees just off the mat. Bear pose. Hovering the knees.
long neck. Let your head lift and look down towards the floor like you're snorkeling. Now put more weight on the left side of the body, left arm, left leg. And then sway across, putting more weight on the right side of the body. Now weight the left hand and the right foot. Now weight the left foot and the right hand. Now weight all limbs evenly and lift your buttocks into downward dog. Pressing down into the hands, draw your finger pads in towards your palms. Feel for a lift in the center palm, a lift to support the carpal tunnel at the wrist, and walk your dog. Now here we can get a nice hip opener if we take the right leg under the left and press the right leg into the left leg, taking the left hip back. You can walk your hands in towards your legs for more of a stretch of the hip. Fluid breath into lifting and taking that hip back. Breathing into the opening myofascia. Notice if you feel it in the knee or the calf or the IT band, where you feel sensation. Is it in the hip? Nothing's wrong with any stretch anywhere. We just want to notice. Walk your hands a little forward again if you walked them back. Step back into your downward dog and take the left leg under. The left foot sticks out to the side. It may be on at the balls of the feet. Press the left femur into the right. Maybe walk the hands back towards the right foot. And breathe into the stretch. You can move the hip. You can take it back. You can take it skyward. Looking for the stretch. Fluid breath. And then step back out and walk the feet towards the hands. Spread from big toe to pinky toe. Ground your heels and float up to Utkatasana. Now, I want you to really let your tailbone go. And for a moment, almost tuck your buttocks more than you think you should. Those of us with accentuated lumbar curves, this might actually be your healthy position. Tuck even a little more. No sticking your butt out. Feel if that's a nice stretch to your low back. So your energy, if you can see my hands, is going down your buttocks, down your hamstrings, down the backs of your legs. Now hug in the banks of your river. So the glutes now hug in towards midline, hugging the glutes in around your sacrum. And take a few more breaths here. Really activating the glutes into the bone, the glutes down towards the legs, stretching the lumbar spine. Three-dimensional breath. Notice where the breath stretches. And release. Come to standing. Pause in your mountain pose. Fluid breath. Okay. Let's bring our heels together, feet open in a little Pilates V. And we'll inhale and reach for the sky. See if you can lift up onto the balls of your feet. And exhale, release the heels. Hands come down past the heart. And inhale, lift. And exhale, lower. And inhale, lift. Your transverse arch is open. You're lifting your heels. You're actually stretching and strengthening the feet. And lower. And let's inhale in one more breath. Drawing in good energy for a wonderful Wednesday for all of you. Okay. I could have taken you on for another half hour there.